From the heart of Wayne County, this is Wayne Goldsboro Television, Goldsboro, North Carolina. Today is the 6th of September, 2016, and this is Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kate Daniels.
And oh boy, it's a Tuesday, and people are headed back to work today. Woohoo!
That's right, that's right.
You know, silly me, I did not mention yesterday that we had a storm roll through here last Friday afternoon, Friday night. We got a lot of rain. But by the time this thing, Hermine, reached us, it had slowed down considerably. There was not as much rain as they were receiving in Florida and Georgia. Thank goodness for that. And there were some winds, and there was some times that things were kind of rough. But for the most part, we fared well here in Wayne County. Hope everybody got through that okay. The history of the Wayne County Courthouse bell. You know we have a bell?
I do.
All right. It's been turned into a book by a fellow by the name of Sheldon Smith. And Sheldon used to be the facilities director here for Wayne County. And he has written a book. He was responsible for the care of the Old County Courthouse bell. And he will read his original story at the Wayne County Public Library, I believe. Well, anyway, let me read this the way it was presented.
Read it the way it was sent to you, Wayne.
Now, Sheldon is a retired Wayne County Buildings and Grounds Superintendent. He tells all about the preservation of this local landmark that rang for important events and the beginning and ending of court days. And it rang from 1851 to 1990. Now, he tells how it survived several construction periods and eventually came to be displayed in the atrium of the present courthouse. It's right downstairs. When you walk in the courthouse, you can see it in an enclosed case there. You can come and hear the story and learn a little more about the history of our area. The program is free and all families are welcomed. You can contact the Goldsboro Children's Department of the Wayne County Public Library for more information. That is 919-735-1824, extension 105105, 5105. Or just call that number and ask for the Children's Department. All right. Fantastic. We got a chicken chase.
We got a chicken chase.
Yep, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow, a chicken chase. Anyway, it's tomorrow. It's a community fun run, walk, and bike. A fun run, walk, and bike. It's tomorrow, beginning at 6 p.m. in the evening at historic Herman Park. Free T-shirts for the first 75 registered. You can register online by going to, I would just go to GoldsboroParksandRec.com. There will be a link there because the other link is a little confusing and I never read it right anyway. So go to GoldsboroParksandRec.com and click on the link to the chicken chase that's to be held tomorrow, and you can register right there for that.
And this is all part of Beak Week, which is an incredibly exciting week full of events, jam-packed with events. So when you go to register for that, you can also check out all the events that are going to be happening throughout the week.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
It is.
It is a lot of fun. We mentioned this yesterday about the job fair. Tell us about that.
Yes, absolutely. The Goldsboro Police Job Fair will take place on Wednesday, September 14th. So next Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. They're hiring police officer trainees. The closing date is coming up on September 16th. So for police officer trainees, this position is open to individuals who desire to become a certified police officer but have not yet earned their basic law enforcement certification. Also, they have openings for, go ahead and laugh at me for saying certification.
I wasn't going to say anything, but now that you brought it up, that was really funny. That was really funny.
They will be open until they are filled, so they are hiring 4 police officers. Just keep banning me.
Oh, okay. I'm a fan of yours.
This position is for individuals currently enrolled or who have successfully completed basic law enforcement training. So if you're unable to attend, you can still apply online at goldsboronc.gov. Again, it's for the Goldsboro Police Jobs Fair, Wednesday, September 14th. There are 2 times that you can physically go from from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then from 6 to 8.
Okay.
Or you can go online.
Or you can glow online.
Or you can glow online.
Say
Glow
it.
on, sweetheart.
Say
Glow on.
certification. Certification. Okay. Also coming up is the Really Chilly Challenge. Yes, October the 2-2. That's from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the John Street parking lot. The Community Soup Kitchen of Goldsboro will benefit from this great event, which is in they've been doing this a number of years now. And you get to taste the chili. It's cost you $5, but think about where the money's going here. It's going to the Community Soup Kitchen. Anyway, we'll tell you more about that the closer we get to it. It's October the 22nd, and it will be at the John Street parking lot, which is between John Street and Center Street, behind the Oddfellows building. All right? All right. I guess we're ready to go to our interview?
We are.
Let's go to our interview, and we'll be back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Today, Selena Bennett from Communities and Schools is with us. Hey!
Hey!
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for being here again. It's great
Thank
to have
you.
you with us. Now, Aries Brinson has been with us for a while now, but
Yes.
you're back in here today. And where's Aries?
Well, I have news to share with you today.
Oh,
I have a new teen court director,
oh.
and I brought her with me today.
Hi, new teen court director,
Nice
And
to meet
her
you.
name is BreeAnna Van Hook,
BreeAnna Van Hook.
Yes, sir.
Very nice, BreeAnna.
and she has been with me now for about
My third week
This
here.
is the 3rd week.
Third week, all right.
Miss Brinson had another opportunity that was offered to her.
Wonderful.
And we were just very, very fortunate to find someone that could come in and fill a position, and it's fantastic.
All
I'm
right.
very, very pleased.
Well, BreeAnna, is it BreeAnna or
Yes,
Bree?
It's
or,
BreeAnna or Bree, whichever
okay.
you feel
Well, tell us
comfortable
about BreeAnna Van Hook. What did you do on the first day you were born? No? Okay, let's not go back quite that far.
Okay.
All right, just tell us about yourself and where's home? Where are you from?
Well, I grew up here in Wayne County.
Did you?
I did. I graduated from Charles B. Aycock High
Did you?
School in 2009.
Okay.
And then after that, I went to UNC Chapel Hill, where I
Wonderful.
graduated in 2013.
Right.
And after that, I went to North Carolina Central School of Law, and I just graduated this past May.
Oh boy. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Brand new, right out of NC Central
Yes.
there.
And as you know, I love having the law background
Yes.
running the teen court program.
Oh, yes.
It has served us very well.
Well, Bree, tell us about the teen court program. What is it? And we've talked about this before many times, but there may be somebody who's not familiar with it. Tell me about what is the teen court, and what do you do with the teen court?
Okay, well, Teen Court is a program that basically gives children a second chance who are first-time offenders. If they complete the program successfully, the charge against them will be dismissed. So it helps keeps their criminal record clean.
Okay.
And I
So
just
it
supervise.
cleans their criminal record. It cleans the charge altogether.
It keeps the conviction off. They still have a charge.
Okay.
But they can later get it expunged if they
Okay.
complete the necessary work.
Okay. If they go through all the proper steps and they keep their nose clean and out of trouble and all that, then it eventually will just disappear. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing because the young people make mistakes.
They do.
I remember my younger days, boy, but they make mistakes without even realizing it.
Yes.
And things happen. Bad things happen to good people.
They do.
And many times it may be a situation where a child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people.
Heard about that.
The friends that they choose may have influenced them or put them in a situation where they might choose to do something that normally they would think through a little bit more clearly.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an educational program. It is not a chance to just say, oh, you made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But there are many layers to the program. and it is an educational opportunity to learn about how to make better choices, how to stay on the right side instead of on the wrong side. And so we stress very heavily that, you know, the consequences you choose. And so if you're hanging out with a negative peer group, if you are running with a crowd that is not going to take you to positive places, then it's time to stop and reassess. And that's what we do in this program. We always tell our kids, you need to hang out with heroes, not zeros.
Exactly, exactly. I always heard if you want to make a lot of money, you hang out with rich people. And if you want to be smart, you hang out with smart people.
Yes, sir.
It just, that's the way it works.
Exactly.
If you want to grow a garden, you see what the people who grow successful gardens grow, and then you do what they do.
That is exactly right.
And I'm not trying to be flippant about this, but it all rubs off.
Well, and the importance of getting these kids through the teen court program is so that they will graduate from high school, not have charges on their record. They will be able to go on and join the military or go to the school of their choice. Many times when kids get in trouble their junior and senior year in high school, there's a great impact upon the direction that their life is going to take from their own.
That's right.
And it does impact military service. It does impact schools that they're going to take, you know, places that they're planning to attend for the next year. And so Bree has already begun her program with lots of counseling for both the parent and the teen as they work their way through this program.
All right. Well, Bree, let me ask you a question. Now, what are the ages of these participants?
We've had some as young as 10, from what Ms. Aries has told me, up to age 18.
So from about the younger age doesn't really matter, does it? As long as they qualify for teen court.
Right.
But you try to cut it off at about 18.
We
Yes,
have
sir.
to.
Have to cut it off. Law.
Law.
I would bet. I bet that's
And
it.
actually, the 16 to 18-year-olds are considered adults. But because of the fact that we get money from United Way, we have a grant that is the local match for the money for our programming. So we can serve children that are 16 to 18.
Good.
If we did not get the United Way money, we would have to stop at age 15. Now, you can imagine the majority of the kids that we receive into the program are 16 to 18. They're about to graduate from high school. They know a little bit more than their parents at that point. They've decided that they are large and in charge, and they make choices that are not always the best choice.
Oh, yeah. So, tell me, when a child between the ages of 10 and 18 would break a law, and we're talking about, what are we talking about? Shoplifting, we're talking about
Larceny,
larceny,
fighting in school.
right? Anything like that. They can actually be arrested and be taken or incarcerated.
They can.
So if this is a first offense, if it's a first offense, then they would qualify for teen court. Is that right?
Yes, sir. As long as it's one of the charges we accept.
Okay. So the charges would be like larceny or fighting in school or something like that.
It's
Yes,
a
sir.
misdemeanor.
Misdemeanor only.
Exactly. It has to be a misdemeanor, but we work with the State Department of Public Safety, the DA's office, and the Sheriff's Department, and we have guidelines. And so when a school resource officer charges someone at school, they go before the judge if they're 16 to 18, and then the judge ultimately makes the decision as to whether or not we can receive that kid into teen court.
Okay. First offense, misdemeanor, 16, 18 years, or anything under 18, 18 or
Anything
under.
under 18, they can automatically be sent to us by a school resource officer.
Okay. But now, if a school resource officer brings charges, is the child arrested? Literally arrested?
Well, they could be,
Okay.
but if it is a diversion that comes to our program, if we can accept them into the program, they are not arrested.
Okay. So they actually go home,
Yes, and they begin the process.
begin the process.
That's right.
Now, teen court is when they actually come to court here in the courthouse.
Yes, sir.
They come to a real courtroom
That's right.
with a real judge.
That's right.
But everybody else in the court is what?
Their peers, teenagers.
Teenagers who many have experienced the same thing. Now, you were part of a teen court, is that right?
I was.
Tell me about that.
I started in high school. I did it for about 2 years. At first I was a little timid, and so I just acted as a jury member, but then later I switched between being prosecution and defense most of the time.
Oh my goodness, did this encourage you, or did this inspire you to get into the law industry, if there's such a word?
It did. It boosted my confidence
Yeah.
and let me know that I could actually do this someday.
Wow.
And you know, Wayne, this is one of the things that we hear, one of the positive outcomes of teen court. We not only are providing a service to the client who's going through the program, but we have so many great young teenagers who serve as active volunteers in the program throughout their high school career. And then they come back to the community as an attorney, giving back to the community.
Yeah.
And we have had this happen a number of times with our young adults who got their start by being a teen court volunteer. And that's very rewarding for the program. That side of the program sees some really good things happening, as well as the educational side of the program for those that are going through the program because they've had a charge.
So, Bree, you mentioned that there's a real judge, and this is a judge that hears cases every day here in the courthouse. But everybody else is a peer. When a child comes before the judge in teen court, the jury would be teenagers.
Yes, sir.
The prosecutor and the defense attorney. Is there a defense attorney?
Yes, they are.
All right. And then this is courtroom, and this is real. This is not play acting. This is absolutely real. The child can actually be sentenced or punished in some way.
They are sentenced.
They are sentenced. But now, I also understand that the accused has to admit guilt. They have to admit guilt. Yes, I did beat up this guy at school, or yes, I did shoplift something. They have to admit guilt. But then, what are the consequences there? What are some of the sentences that they may receive?
We have minimum and maximum, as well as mandatory sentences. Everyone has to do complete community service.
Okay.
That can range anywhere between 6 and 20 hours, depending on the charge. We have community service sites like the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, the public library, as well as Habitat for Humanity. They're allowed to choose their site. We also have a Think Smart program, which they're obligated to do, where an inmate at Green Correctional Facility comes in and tells them what it's like being in prison and having a criminal record.
Is this like a tough love thing?
Very much.
To straighten them out. Tell them what it's really like in there.
Oh, yeah.
We had that program just yesterday afternoon.
Did you?
Yes.
They got a dose of reality.
And it really is a dose of reality, because it's not a picnic being locked up or incarcerated in a prison.
No.
Not at all.
And those incarcerated actually come and talk to these youngsters about what it's like to be incarcerated in prison.
We have an agreement with the Green Correctional Facility, and they bring an inmate who has worked hard and has gained the opportunity to leave to talk about their experiences with kids.
Do they pay attention?
They do. We have them complete a worksheet while they're listening, and they have to ask one question at the end.
They have to ask a question.
They do.
Oh, that's good.
It's an excellent program.
So, how does someone become, well, I know he has to break the law, so how does a child become a part of the system?
Well, they can either be referred to us through district court, from a school resource officer, or from a juvenile court counselor.
But a parent cannot just walk in and say, my child is a thief, I want you to take him and fix him.
No, sir.
No, it has to be a child resource officer, the court system, or
the court counselor.
the court counselor.
Right.
All right.
And we do have parents that will call us and say, my child received a charge over the weekend, can you please take them? And so what we have to explain is that is not our call. That is up to the district court's judge or to that school resource officer based on the guidelines that we all have to abide by.
Okay.
If they're 16 to 18, it has to go to court, and the case has to be sent to us by that district court judge.
All right, Bree, I'm going to test you here, okay? You've only been here for 3 weeks, doing this for 3 weeks now. What is your phone number?
My phone number is 731-1432.
That's right. You passed the test.
I told you, I only hire the best.
I know you do.
I only hire the
know you
best.
do. BreeAnna Van Hook, the new director of our teen court here in Wayne County, and thank you very much for being with us. Looking forward to talking to you again soon. And of course, always Selena Bennett of the Communities and Schools thing, right?
That's exactly
See, I got that right too. I'm quick.
See, you're good, Wayne. What can I say?
I don't know. What was your name? Anyway, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
We're back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you for being with us. Very quickly, the American Legion Post 11 is going to be celebrating 97 years. Their 97th anniversary coming up soon. Post 11 first chartered in September of 1919. So many things happening in 1919. World War I had just ended. Anyway, it's been continuous with the charter ever since. Since that first charter, they have had 73 different commanders, keeping the Legion going strong in Wayne County. To celebrate this year, they're going to have a groundbreaking ceremony for the Walk of Honor, an anniversary party cookout, and 9/11 remembrance. That's all coming up. The walkway will lead out to the flagpole in front of the Legion office hut there on 117 South, and will honor all veterans, all patriots, all veterans organizations, military branches of service, and supporters. After the ceremony, a moment of silence, the celebration begins. So this is on September 10th. That's this Saturday now. This Saturday at the American Legion Hut, Post 11, Highway 117 South, just immediately south of the fairgrounds on the left as you're going toward Mount Olive. It all starts at 1 o'clock. Lots of activities like cornhole and horseshoes for your entertainment throughout the day. The dedication and ribbon cutting ceremony begins at 3 p.m. Barbecue pork and chicken and sides, $8 a plate. The meal starts at 5 p.m. First responders discount, special discount on the meal. Otherwise, $8. Live entertainment starts at 7 p.m. Vendors are welcome. So go and have a good time this Saturday at the American Legion Post 11, celebrating 97 years of serving veterans in Wayne County. All right. All right, this is, okay, we're in our second segment here. That means that we have to find out what's special about today. Today being the 6th of the month. And as I gave away yesterday, it's another Look Unlimited Day, and I have no idea what that means. Look Unlimited. Nah. Okay. Google was founded on this day a long time ago.
When? Does it say?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It does not
I
say.
would like to know that. We'll have to Google that later.
I'm going to guess.
Yes.
1999. That's a guess.
Yeah.
I have no
probably a
idea.
very good one.
I don't know. That's a guess.
There's the guess.
I just like throwing numbers out there. Here's our trivia question for today. Have you ever been to the Empire State Building?
No.
Nor have I.
Really?
I have never been there, but I have seen it. And if you look at the Empire State Building at the very, 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 very tip top, there is a tower on top, what they call a spire.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
There's a spire on top of the Empire State Building, but it's not used for anything. It's just there. But it had a purpose when the Empire State Building was built back in the 20s. It had a purpose. What was the purpose of that spire on top of the Empire State Building? Ha! And that's a good question. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That's a good question. It had a very specific purpose.
Spell spire.
S-P-I-R-E.
Okay.
Okay, which is like a very narrow tower.
But it had a purpose.
It had a purpose. It was
1920.
very specific. 1920, I think 27 was when the Empire State Building was built. Over that period of time, that year, around about the same time that Lindbergh flew over the Atlantic. Yeah.
So what you're saying is people need to tune in to the last segment so they'll know the answer.
And I will give you the answer during the last segment of the program. There you go. One more thing here very quickly.
Yeah.
Goldsboro, Wayne County Travel and Tourism. Goldsboro, Wayne Travel and Tourism is where you would go to find out about tours of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. That is amazing. People don't even know they have tours out there. They have tours.
They do.
You get on the bus and you ride around, and people tell you, they tell you what goes, you know, what this is. And that's an airplane. That's a building. But it's a little more detailed than that.
A little more detailed.
A little more detailed than that. They actually give tours of the installation on the last Thursday of each month. And if you want to be a part of this, call the chamber. No, not
Well,
you.
it's the Chambers building.
It's in the chamber building. That's right.
Yes, Amber Hoggard will take good care of you. They do need to book 25 people to the group. I do know that. So whether you've got a party of 25 or it's you and a friend, contact Amber. She'll take care of you and get you on a list so that
There you
you
go.
can get an inside look into the wonderful Seymour Johnson Air Force Base that we're so blessed to have in Goldsboro, North Carolina.
And if you think that you know what goes on out there, but you've never been out there to look around, you will be amazed at what they do to the operation of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base is an amazing.
It's incredible.
We are so fortunate to have them here.
Incredible.
All right, that's this segment. We'll go to our next interview, and we'll be back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Our guest today is Stephen Stroud, who's director of the Inspections Department here in Wayne County. Stephen, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Good to see you.
So good to see you, Steve. We want to cover a few things that we probably haven't talked about before, and that we've talked about many things, including permits and including when people would need permits and what's required of that. But now I want to talk about mobile homes. Now, tell me about what's the mobile home ordinances in general for Wayne County.
Okay, and that's something we get a lot of questions about here. One of the main ones is the age of a mobile home, when you can move it and set it up in Wayne County. And we used to have a rule, had a local ordinance that it was a 15-year rule. If the home was over 15 years old, you could not bring it into Wayne County and set it up.
But those that were here were grandfathered.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's right. Now
but you can't bring one in that's 15 years old, but that's changed.
That's changed now. About 2 years ago, our commissioners got together and changed that rule that now if it is HUD certified, which means that the mobile home would have to have been manufactured after July 1976. That's when HUD started certifying, inspecting mobile homes as they were being built in factories. So if it was built after July 1976, then it should be HUD certified, and if it's HUD certified and built after that date, you can now bring it into Wayne County.
So conceivably, if someone's living elsewhere in the state, or anywhere for that matter, they can actually bring in a 40-year-old mobile home, providing it's HUD inspected or meets HUD.
That's
HUD
right,
qualifications.
and they will have the HUD sticker
Sticker
on the home. Usually it's on the front right corner.
Over time, everything deteriorates to some degree, even stick-built houses. But now a mobile home is no different. It will have some deterioration there. Is there anything that you would look for that might apply in this situation?
Well, we're still going to go in and we're still going to do our basic inspection as we would for a one that was 5 years old. Making sure that the floors, the ceilings are adequate to house somebody to be habitable. We'll check the electrical, the plumbing, make sure everything is safe with all that before we'll okay it and have the power turn on where somebody can live in.
Is there any concern the 40-year-old HUD regulations would have changed over a period of time, I would think, to meet new standards?
They do, and the mobile home industry is a few years behind code changes, the building code.
Okay.
But they're still pretty much up to date.
Yeah.
So as time goes by, they will change their rules to follow along with the building.
Do FHA standards ever fall into this?
Yes,
at
they
all?
can.
They can.
If somebody gets FHA loans or VA loans, they have to meet a little more criteria as far as the setting up of the mobile home.
So, providing it has the HUD label, then it should meet the regulations.
Yes.
It should meet
That's right.
the ordinances here in Wayne County.
That's correct.
Wow.
Yep.
So that's a far cry from 15 years. But now,
It is.
15 years ago was not that long ago. A 15-year-old mobile home was made in 2001.
That's right. And you'll find a lot of mobile homes that were built in the 80s, 90s that were still nice homes if they were
sure.
taken care of. And at the time we wouldn't allow them into the county, and they rethought that and said, no, let's back up a little bit. I think we be a little more lenient on that.
Does all this also apply to modular homes, which is close to the same thing?
No, modulars are actually built and inspected and have to meet the current residential code, building
As a
code.
stick-built house.
That's right.
Modular homes have to meet stick-built house code.
That's correct.
How about that?
Yep. They fall under the North Carolina residential building code.
All right.
Yep.
And mobile homes do not.
They do not. They fall under HUD
All right.
specifications.
But the modular home regulations would be, what, are they a little more strict?
The residential building code is a little more stricter than HUD
Than for
is.
mobile homes,
That's
than
right.
for HUD.
That's right, yeah. And they're a little, they still try to keep up, but they are a few years behind as far as keeping up with the residential code. But they're, they're still up to standards.
All right. Well, in the process of mobile homes, what do people go through? If, let's say someone lives in, let's pick Raleigh, and they live in Raleigh, and they want to bring a 40-year-old mobile home that meets HUD standards into the Wayne County area. What steps do they have to go through?
First thing, of course, whoever's going to move the home and set it up for them's got to get a moving permit from DOT to move it down the road.
ABC Moving Company.
That's
They have
right.
to get a,
That's right. Next thing, they're going to need to get a development permit from the planning department saying that yes, this mobile home can go on this particular lot. It's not zoned for in a special area that it may be zoned that wouldn't allow it, or there may be some other restrictions. Let's say they're in the flight zone of the airport, of the Seymour Johnson. There has to be some more things that has to be taken care of if they're in a flight zone. Next step is environmental health, septic system. If it has an existing septic system, they will go out and check the existing system, make sure everything's okay with it. Or if it's a new system, they have to install new septic systems. And then once that is taken care of, then they can come to us to get the setup electrical plumbing permits.
now, the septic system. Some septic system is set up according to the number of bedrooms in a home. Is that
That's correct.
pretty much
That's the way they size them, by
so
bedrooms.
So if it's a 2-bedroom house, then you have a certain size, and if it's a 4-bedroom house, then you have a bigger size.
Correct.
So what if they're moving in a 4-bedroom home and there's a 2-bedroom septic system there?
That's why they got to see environmental health before we give them any permits.
Got to move that.
Because they wouldn't be able to use it there unless they want to specifically put it on that lot. They can change the size of the septic tank, add more lines to it if they want to.
Okay.
They can do that.
They can do that. So does anyone ever say, I know it's a 4-bedroom home, but 2 of those bedrooms are actually offices or game rooms or exercise rooms, not really bedrooms?
That's what they will tell us, but if it was manufactured as a 4-bedroom home, that's what we have to
And
go
that's
with.
how it's listed.
That's right.
As a 4-bedroom home.
That's what we have to go with.
You have to go with that. So that would require either additional lines or jerking that septic system out and putting a new one in.
That's right.
All right. So what about electrical and plumbing? Anything, what do you inspect there besides the obvious?
Well, on the mobile home, we'll go in the home, make sure that the electrical, everything looks safe in there. There's not wires or receptacles that may be hanging out the wall. If there are, they have to get them installed properly. All the plumbing is hooked up under sinks, and same thing under the house. We make sure that everything is plumbed correctly into the home and out of the home to the septic system. And the electrical, what we're doing is from the outside pedestal, meter box panel, into the home to the panel inside. We'll check that, make sure everything's to code for that, and then just make sure everything is safe.
What are the regulations for the pedestal itself, the electrical pedestal? Does it have to meet certain standards? I mean, of course it meets certain standards,
Yeah,
but
so
I mean,
of
what
course
about
it's-
location?
No more than 30 feet from the home.
30 feet?
Right.
Okay.
That's one of the regulations for that. No more than 30 feet away from the home. It has to be 30 feet or closer to the home.
Okay.
And just meeting the electrical code. It can be an overhead pole that the power company can tie on overhead, or you can go underground with it.
Oh, okay. All right, that's interesting. So 30 feet, most of them that I have observed are usually right next
They're
to the house.
usually right next to them.
Right next
That's
to
right.
it, which is a little more convenient. And water, that falls under water and sewer, I would
Yeah,
think.
that falls under the plumbing.
Under plumbing.
Yep.
Okay, and you inspect that as well. But you brought up an interesting point there that made me think about the electrical system in a home, and this would apply, I'm sure, to not only mobile homes but also to stick-built houses as well. And that is, you mentioned wiring lying around across the floor and that sort of thing. A lot of people now, with adding electronics to the home, computers, more TVs, more electronics being added to the home, people are using a lot more of the multi-plug, like that one, multi-plug
Power
wiring,
strip.
power strip. Thank you. In the home. Are these safe?
Yes, they are safe. They are UL listed. But what you can't do, and what you're not supposed to do, is take a power strip and plug another power strip into that one. That's what they call a daisy chain.
You can't plug a power strip into another power strip.
That's right.
That really gets dangerous.
That can be overloaded circuit.
Because you've got not only that power strip plugged in with several different plugs, you have another power strip with more plugs plugged into it.
That's right.
Now these things are supposed to snap off if it overheats. Is that right?
Supposed to.
Supposed to cut off if it overheats. But I've heard of counterfeit power strips coming into the market that actually appear to have a UL label on them.
Correct. There's a lot of things coming around like that now.
There's a lot of things coming around like that. How do you know the difference?
The average person probably would not. I mean, it may have it's listed as whatever it may say, but unless it bears that UL listed symbol, and of course they can counterfeit that too.
They can counterfeit that. But now UL has they're using holograms, I think, now on some of their listed some of their stickers.
What I've heard.
Using holograms, which can be counterfeited.
Anything I think could be counterfeited.
So I would presume, which is dangerous, that if you're going to buy a power strip, you want to buy it from a reputable company.
That's correct.
A reputable store.
That's right.
Yeah. So do your homework.
That's right. That's right. Get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. If it's too cheap, there's got to be a reason for it.
That's right.
Because people are not going to create a product and then lose money on it. You can't do that.
That's right.
So you pay for what you get for.
That's right.
And you pay for what you get.
Pay for what you get.
You
there
pay
you go.
something like that. All right. Any other words of wisdom about mobile homes that you want people to know about? How about applying decks and stairs? What about steps outside?
They've got to meet the residential building code.
You've got to have steps.
If you're over 30 inches on a mobile home, you've got to have the top step is over 30 inches. You've got to have handrails and pickets on those steps.
Handrails and pickets if it's over 30 inches off the ground.
Correct.
Handrails and pickets, which would be the
handrails coming down, and then the pickets, and they can be no more than 4 inches
apart.
Between. Right.
4 inches apart. All right. And decks?
Basically the same thing.
Basically the same thing. But that would also fall under any regulation regarding decks, anything 12 by 12 or bigger.
That's correct.
All right.
Yep.
See, I remember things.
Yeah.
What was your name?
Junior Waterhammer?
Yes, Mr. Waterhammer.
Okay, there we go.
Stephen Stroud is director of our inspections department here in Wayne County. If you have any questions for Steve, call him at 919-731 something.
1169.
That's what I was going to say. 919-731-1169. Buddy, I appreciate it.
And you can email me. Stephen.Stroud@WayneGov.com.
Whoa! They let you have an email, huh?
Believe it or not, they do.
Stephen, S-T-E-V-E-N.
Yep.
S-T-E-V-E-N Stroud, S-T-R-O-U-D, at WayneGov.com. Steve, thanks, bud.
Thank you.
Back on Wayne Goldsboro Television, thanks for being with us. And a quick reminder here that this program airs every day, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. The show repeats at noon, then the show re-repeats at 5:30 p.m. Post-meridian. There you go. Now, we have, today is the 6th, so that means that day after tomorrow is Thursday. Disabled American Veterans, Donald H. Kirkman Chapter number 45 will have their meeting Thursday, beginning at 7 p.m. at the DAV chapter on East Mulberry Street, 212 East Mulberry Street. And then on Saturday, the 10th, the Military Order of the Purple Heart will have a meeting at 10:30 a.m. in the same building at 212 East Mulberry Street in Goldsboro. And we mentioned, of course, Saturday being the 97th anniversary of the American Legion Post 11, just south of Goldsboro on Highway 117 South, immediately south of the Wayne County Fairgrounds, Wayne Regional Agricultural Fairgrounds. Very quickly, Sunday is the anniversary of September 11th. And on September 11th, there will be a 9/11 ceremony beginning at 8:30 at Veterans Park in downtown Goldsboro. Now, that's at the corner of William and Walnut Street downtown, right across from the courthouse. and you are certainly invited to attend. It's a remembrance ceremony, a 9/11 ceremony beginning at 8:30 this coming Sunday. All right. Let's see now. What else have we here? Beak Week. Oh,
Week.
and voting. Voting.
Ooh,
So
crank it
important.
up.
Early voting begins October 20th, and at the Board of Elections office at 209 South William Street. 209 South William Street. Early voting begins at that location. And that's the only location at which you may vote early until the 27th. And at that time, you can, they will open 5 additional locations. Goldsboro Worship Center on New Hope Road. Little River Shopping Center will have a voting site on West Grantham Street. New Hope Friends Church on Highway 70 East. The Mount Olive Train Depot, and that's in Mount Olive. And Fremont Town Hall. And I believe that's in Fremont. That's in Fremont. Okay. So on the 27th, you can vote in those locations. Now, voting is open until early voting is open until November 5th. And you can pick a day at your convenience to go vote. Any day between October 20th and November 5th. You can vote any day of the week, or Saturday or Sunday.
That's right.
That's exactly right. Now, that's early voting. You can also vote by mail, matter of fact. You can download your ballot online, or if you have any problems with that, you can go to the phone and call the Board of Elections office, 919-731-1411. And there's also a couple of other ways that Pat told me about that I can't remember right now. Absentee voting. There is, or you can wait until November 8th and go vote and stand in line for an hour. Well, you can. That's your right. That's your right as an American citizen. It's your privilege as an American citizen to vote. And another thing I mentioned the other day, that just because there are several names on a ballot, you may not know every single race on the ballot. You may not. If you do not know someone or the people opposing each other, you shouldn't even be voting on that in that particular race. And I don't know why I'm saying this, because everybody should be voting, because that's what we do in America. We vote, we choose our leaders. But if you're not sure or you don't know who these people are, then do not vote in that particular, because the consequences could be you end up putting somebody in office you don't know, and somebody who does not agree with your way of thinking.
Well, yeah, and it's just we always be ever minded that to do your homework before you do vote.
That's
because,
the key.
You know, some people have the mindset that, you know, my vote doesn't really matter. I know of 2 instances in recent years, in the last 2 elections, where it was down to literally one was one vote and one was, I think, 7. Just extremely close. I mean, unprecedentedly close. So, you know who you're voting for. Do your homework, have discussions with people, get to know these candidates, because they are making decisions that will either help push the momentum in our county going forward, or it could halt it. And these are local elections we're talking about, state elections, and of course on the national front, that we are, you know, we're already starting to, I think, be overwhelmed by the media coverage right now. It's going to crank up even more. So don't believe everything you read on the internet. I'm seeing a lot of stuff on Facebook where people will share stuff, and it's like, look at how they voted in the past. Like, that article is written, but Bennett, you know, Bennett, Wayne Alley says something, you should always trust that.
Oh, Lord.
No pressure, right?
Right. So if you have a complaint about that, Kate's address is Kate, care of the Chamber of Commerce, Wayne County. Anyway, do the right thing. Vote. Do the right thing and vote. All right, now that's going to be it for today, but I've got to give the answer to the trivia question. The question today was about the Empire State Building. There's a spire, a tower, if you will, atop the Empire State Building. It's very tall, and it's there for a very specific reason. When they built the Empire State Building back in the late 20s, they put that spire up there to do something. And the question was, what was it built for? Why would they build a spire on top of the building? And what would you do with it? Well, the answer to that is it was for the deplaning, if you will, the emptying of people who traveled by dirigible, or dirigible, which is a large balloon, if you will. It was a flying machine of hydrogen or helium that people would travel in back, in fact, all the way up until the mid-40s. And at that time they were deemed unsafe, but now they're being used by the military now. But that's another story. But this was for people who wanted to travel to the Empire State Building. They could travel on these dirigibles or these blimps to the Empire State Building. The spire was a mooring that would tie off the blimp to hold it in place, and then people could exit the blimp or the dirigible and travel down into the Empire State Building.
Now, I would like to talk to somebody who actually did that.
It was never done because it was deemed unsafe.
I was about to say, can you imagine?
Mm-hmm. And on
That's why it was erected that way. It was, that's
yeah, it was, but it was too windy. They decided, well, we can't do this because it was blowing the blimp around. You know, and people couldn't get off.
1, 2, 3,
Jump!
Where you go?
We're going to jump to tomorrow. With that's when we'll be back here on Wayne Goldsboro Television. So in the meantime, drive carefully. Please wear your seatbelt. It certainly makes a difference and saves lives. So until tomorrow, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kate Daniels.
And this is Wayne Goldsboro Television.